In this video, I'm going to be talking about the single most important tip that I give to all students that are studying for the 2021 PMP exam. My name is Andrew Ramdial, and I'm the author of this book, The PMP Exam Prep Simplified. So, the PMP exam is made up of mostly situational questions. And this tip I'm about to give you applies to those situational questions. Expect 70% plus, 70+% of the question on the exam to be a situational question. First of all, what exactly is a situational question? Well, on this exam, they're going to put you in a variety of scenarios and you're going to have to figure it out from there. For example, they're going to tell you that a sponsor doesn't like the deliverable and they want to change it, or they want you to scrap it and start again. A scenario where team members are having conflicts with each other. A scenario where a vendor is having a conflict with the project. These are the type of questions you're going to get on your exam. The PMP exam does not have questions where you're going to have to just memorize the output of this process or the input of this particular process. Although knowing those things will help you in the scenarios, if that's all you know, you're not going to pass. Now, how are you going to approach these particular situations? What exactly is the mindset, the methodology that you're going to use to approach these situations, especially on this new 2021 exam? So just a bit of a history lesson. You go back 5 years ago to the much older exam, PMBOK version 5 exam or so. It was all traditional project management. Then you got to the 2018, the PMBOK version 6. We started to incorporate more and more agile questions in that particular exam. Here in 2021, PMI says 50% of these questions are hybrid and agile. But you know what? I've had a bunch of students that have taken this exam and passed, that have read my book or done my live classes or take my e-learning courses. And they're telling me it's over 60%. A lot of them are getting over 60% of these questions. Now, maybe because they saw so much, their perception is that. Let's just say you're going to get a lot of agile questions. The concept of a servant leadership or following servant leadership principles is mostly something that you study in agile, not in traditional project management. But since you have so much agile questions, the principles of servant leadership are being followed not just in agile projects, but in a traditional project. Now, this video is not meant to go over all the principles in depth, although I will be reviewing it with you at a high level. If you want to learn more about being a servant leader, take a look at the book, take a look at my e-learning course, or come join us in our live class. Or use some other resources. It doesn't have to be our resource. Use any other resource you like to learn about servant leadership, because this is the mindset. This is the approach you're going to take when answering these questions. So let's get right into servant leadership. And again, this is just a high level overview of it. So servant leadership. So in a traditional project, you're probably going to play this role of where you're more of a dictator. Do it my way or the highway type project management method, I should say. This is the older way of managing a project. In today's world, companies don't want that. They want a manager that can empower the team. They want a manager that motivates the team, knows the feelings of the team. They want a manager that basically fetches, quote unquote, food and water. So what does that mean? Well, you're basically going to give the team the resources they need in order to succeed, whether that's motivating the team, whether that's going to be giving them the right particular tools they need in order to succeed. Let's take a look at the 10 principles here of a servant leadership. So the first thing up, as a good servant leader, is you are going to be willing to listen. The best thing you can do on a project is when team members are speaking, for you to not speak. Listen to them, hear their concerns. You want to have empathy, being able to understand other people's feelings. One of the topics in this particular course and in this exam is emotional intelligence. Read about that in the book, but make sure you understand the concepts of that. Anytime you're talking to people, you have to understand, hey, are they excited? Are they sad? Are they upset? Are they really angry? As you're watching this video right now, do I seem upset? Do I seem really, really excited? Or maybe I seem really angry at something. Well, right now I'm pretty excited to be in front of these bright lights and these cameras and telling this information to you. But you have to be able to understand people's feelings. Healing. You know, sometimes you have team members that comes and joins your project and they may have had bad experience with managers before. Some of us are pretty damaged, emotionally speaking, from previous companies. I remember starting out my career working at a particular business where the boss was pretty much of a tyrant. And then I came to another company and you kind of expect the same. But then you realize, okay, these people are not like that. Or maybe they're even worse, who knows? You have to heal them. You have to emotionally heal them and let them know that they're welcome here and you're not going to be like that. Self-awareness. Know of your own strengths. Know of your own weakness. Not just of you, but of your team. Do you know what your weakest communication skill is? Maybe you're not good at public speaking. Maybe you're not good at speaking in front of one person or a particular executive. Maybe, like me, I'm not the best person when it comes to grammar. Some of you guys are probably laughing, Some of you guys probably watched some of my live classes. You're like, hey, that guy is not pretty good at grammar. I know that. It's just my deficiency. But you know what? I'm good at math. So we have to be aware of our own selves. Persuasion and collaboration versus being a dictator. You want to persuade people to do things. If you persuade them, they're happy doing it. You want to collaborate with them and talk to them and show them the benefits of doing something. You don't want to just tell them, hey, this is why you're going to do it because I'm the boss. And if you don't do it, you're out of here. Conceptualization. You have to know what is the long goal of it. What is the end goal of this project? How does this fit into the business? Where is this business going? You have to know the future. Foresight. Now, foresight is a good one. Foresight, you have to be able to look at the past, learn from it, take what you learn, and then apply it to what's happening and going forward in the future. Stewardship. You know what? If you want people to follow you, if you want people to be excited to working with you, you have to be willing to do the work yourself. Commit to people growth. Give the team the education. Send them to that conference that will up their level of knowledge of that particular product they're working on. Get them that training class that's going to ensure that they know how to use that particular product. The next one, building community. Build a team where everyone has trust. And for example, you know what, if I give you something, I'm going to trust you're going to do it. I'm going to trust you're going to be honest with me. These are going to be the principles of a particular servant leader. Do you think that you're a servant leader? I hope so. But you know what? Do some research on this. Now, let's talk about your exam quickly. When you approach your exam questions, look at the choices. Look at the 4 choices that you see there. Or there might be some of them that has multiple choices, right? Maybe 5 or 6 of these things. You may have to choose 2 or 3 of those. Ask yourself, in any of these scenarios that you're in, which one of those choices is following the servant leadership principles? That will help you weed out some of the choices. So you could look at this. Maybe you got a question where there's a problem between team members and you have to be able to fix this particular problem. And choice A is like, you determine the solutions and just push it on them. Then you're like, well, that's not a servant leadership principle. That's out of here. Then you have one where you're going to meet with the 2 team members individually, discuss solutions with them, bring them together, come up with the solutions. Hey, that sounds like a servant leadership. That's going to be, and that particular one applies multiple. That's listening, that's having empathy, that's being self-awareness, that's persuasion and collaboration. So you have to know these principles really well. So when you look at a question, when you look at a choice, you're like, oh, that's definitely a servant leader. And that's how you're going to get many, many, many of these particular questions correct. Here at TIA, we are a PMI authorized training provider, and we get these clone questions from PMI that's supposed to be just like the real exam. And believe me, there's 210 of them. I have gone through all of them. And the servant leadership principles apply on so many of them. I think upwards of 80% you can actually apply a lot of the servant leadership principles, and it starts to form that mindset that you're going to need. So, servant leadership is the main tip that you're going to need to pass this exam. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. You know what? If you like this video, give me a like, subscribe to this particular channel. I'll be adding more videos to it. I also have some live streams coming up. Why don't you check those out? And if you're looking for some classes, hey, check us out. Technical Institute of America. We have great live classes, the authorized live training at a decent price. And I'll see you in the next video.